to put our friendship on the line. And he proved that our friendship means a lot to him. Oh, she broke it. Oh,
Yeah, and shout out to her because I've
mm-hmm,
followed her a long time and she's always been hardcore. She
mm-hmm.
is a deathmatch girl. So don't sleep on her.
Right. Although she may be
She
small and
about that life.
dainty.
She's really about that life.
Right. And I love how Big E, when he did his like top 5 of the night or whatever, she landed up at number 2. Mind you,
Nice.
she didn't even have a match.
Right,
Like that
right.
spot
Good
alone,
for her.
right? That spot alone granted her like a number 2 slot on Big E's list. So this is when I say, like, if y'all are watching wrestling and y'all don't see why women deserve their spotlight and their shine,
Mm-hmm.
y'all watching for the wrong
Right.
reasons.
Queen P.R, Krista B, those wrestling girls, TWG, Black Excellence, making it effortless, podcast bringing up women in wrestling. Let's go.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good.
We made it. We made
Yes,
it through a
yes.
crazy SummerSlam weekend, but let me do the proper intro. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite girls, those wrestling girls. It's your girl, Krista B.
Hey, we are.
And we are back with an amazing, amazing SummerSlam recap. It was a hell of a ride. And usually these weekends typically start on Thursday, maybe a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But for us to start on a
On
Wednesday.
Wednesday, wasn't it? I wasn't even expecting it to start on a
Me
Wednesday.
neither, but it was the great kickoff.
It
We was
was.
able to kick it off with none other than Ron Killings. He had a dope and amazing album listening party. Make sure I get the white album when it drops on August 11th. It was very different, but very him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was very. You could tell there was a lot of emotion behind it. There was
Mm-hmm.
a lot of feelings behind it that I'm definitely gonna be blasting in my car for sure.
It's good. I was reading it because Brian bought the CD, and at the bottom it says like, beware of feelings of positivity and encouragement and happiness, and if it hits you, to like make sure you give it to somebody else. And I was like, I love those kind of messages too. Also, like a CD. Wow.
Mhm.
I mean, get
Right.
like let's do it. Like I'm old, so when I get my hands on a physical CD, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And it was a cute event.
It was a really, really cute
And it
event.
was very different. That's how I knew this SummerSlam weekend was going to be very different.
Mhm.
I would like to, before we get into the nitty gritty, having PLEs in your hometown is very interesting.
It is. So we were hyped that they announced SummerSlam to be back in Jersey, like
Like
Jersey, New York area, because like
in
yes, we don't have to fly
Vegas,
out, we don't
when
have
I
to
was
like we can
talking
just
to
drive. Child, we was wrong.
No, and I remember in Vegas talking to Andreas Hale, like, oh my God, like you must be happy that you don't have to travel and da da da. And he was like, it actually is kind of worse only because like you still have your everyday life. Like
Mhm.
he's still doing kid drop off, he's still, doing all of these things. And I can relate because I didn't take any days off this weekend for SummerSlam. But if it was in like Cleveland or something, I would have taken day. I would have had no
Right.
choice but to take days off. So this one, I feel even more exhausted than I do sometimes for like Mania, just of the simple fact that like real life didn't stop because
Mhm.
it was in New York and New Jersey. And I have a lot I want to talk about this weekend, but all in all, it was pretty dope.
It was a pretty dope weekend, and like I said, we kicked it off with Ron Killen's event, but we also Thursday it was Summer Bash, the very first ever Summer Bash, and you guys, we have a special treat for you guys because finally, after months and months, I want to say years now,
Probably
of
years.
years of trying to get this special guest on our show, I had to put our friendship on the line, and he proved that our friendship means a lot to him. So we have none other than Sam Roberts joining us
Yay!
today.
Hi,
Hi,
Sam.
Sam.
I mean, I don't. It couldn't have been that difficult. Once you just said, "Here's a day," I was like, "Okay, that day sounds good."
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did happen that way.
it did happen that way.
It did happen that way.
Did happen that way.
But I'm glad to have you, Sam, because I was thinking about how I came across your content when I got back into wrestling, like around 2015, 2016, I believe it was. And your channel was one of the first that I kind of came across. And then to see your evolution has been, I think it was like NXT first, and I was just like, oh my god, I know him. Talking Heads on the network, rest in peace to the network.
Right.
But it's so amazing to see you on WWE television. Like, you know, we've had the pleasure of going to wrestling shows, seeing you out and about, but we are so proud of everything that you've been able to accomplish.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I mean, it means a lot. Thank you. It's I mean, you're right. It is amazing. You know, like it's pretty wild. And I'm also like, I love that you guys have actually, we've been to shows together. You've seen me at shows, and you're aware that like this isn't some sort of, you know, okay, you just go in there and pretend you're just like a fan, just pretend, you know, and you do the fan point. Like it was fan first. It's still fan first, and that is what's translated into kind of how I talk about wrestling. And it's just amazing that we've figured out a way to have this fan perspective from an authentic place, and that there is a spot for it in WWE. It's wild.
Yeah, it is. It is a wild thing. And I do love the fact that we're all fans first, because as you said, translate as more authentic than, you know, just trying to be someone who's just jumping on a bandwagon like we've seen a lot of people do as of late, and they don't really know the gist of what it takes to be a wrestling fan, or the gist of even what it takes to be a wrestler, like to see it up close and personal. Like they still throw the F word around, like, but you're here watching it. So how fake can it be if you're here watching and you see like people get injured, you see people get carried out, you see, you know, you see all of that. So
I'd like to know though, real quick, before we get into SummerSlam, how you do feel about the exposure now. Cause I like, it's always that like weird thing where you feel kind of territorial because this is something that we've loved for so long and we've been passionate about it for so long. But then it's also like, I'm glad that now the masses are seeing like what makes WWE and wrestling really cool. But then it's like, you know, you're sitting next to people that are throwing around the F word, or like, how do you feel about more casual fans coming in? And have you had any interesting like interactions with like the newer casual fan?
Yeah, I love it. You know, I think that, and I've said this before, now, like in the last 2 or 3 years, I have met more new wrestling fans than maybe in my entire life. Like there was a very long period of time where it was either you don't watch wrestling or you've been watching wrestling for 20 years. Like there was no, I mean, the idea of picking up new audience was just not happening. It just, and there was still a big audience and everything. It just wasn't like, it wasn't that thing. And now it feels like there are new people. There's either new people jumping on board all the time or people that haven't watched in years and years and years watching all the time. But what I love is when I hear people that have an interest in not just being a fan, but maybe they started as a casual fan, maybe they started watching the show, and then all of a sudden they're like listening to shows like mine, and like it makes them this so much more kind of deep, hardcore fan. Because now, I mean, you know, the way I do my show, there are wrestling shows that are like, well, it's a wrestling show, but we kind of talk about everything and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, like we're only going to talk about wrestling. Yes. We're talking about wrestling. We're going to go into the absolute minutia of every tiny little detail. And that's what we're doing on the show. So if you don't love this, it's not the show for you. This is for people who want to be inundated with it. And, you know, when I like get emails and stuff from people and they're like, yeah, you know, I've been a fan of WWE since WrestleMania last year, and I've been listening to your show for 3 months. I go like, that's amazing. Like that you have only been watching for a year, maybe less, but you're so into it that you want to get
you like, I want more. Raw is over. I want more.
Going from a casual to a hardcore that quick, I think is such a cool thing.
Right. When's the moment you became hardcore, or was it like your whole life?
Always. Like always. Like literally, I remember, I mean, 7 years old when like we're learning to read in school. Like seriously, not like, the duck
Yeah.
says, but I mean like really like, okay, now you have to read a book.
Mhm.
You have to go home and read 5 pages of whatever you want to read. And I remember like having knockdown, drag out fights with my parents and they're going, you can't read a wrestling magazine and say that that's your school reading. And I'm like, it's reading.
That's actually
reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reading.
And I mean, and now, they've clearly just come to terms with the fact that on that, they were wrong on that one. Like clearly I knew what I was doing.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, so like, that's to say, from the time I started watching wrestling, whatever it was, it clicked in me.
You're hardcore.
And yeah, I was obsessed with it and wanted everything to be about wrestling after that.
of course, like a true hardcore fan would, right?
Yeah.
So before we get into SummerSlam, P and I always have this debate with our guests. It's always like our game. If you're a Team Rock or Team Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I know like you've been watching since before the Attitude Era, but because we're Attitude Era babies, we just need to know if you're Team Rock or Team Stone Cold.
At the time?
At the time.
Or even now.
I mean,
at the time you had to choose. Now you don't have to choose.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like a different era. Like you had to be like one of the
had to be Team Rock or Stone Cold, but
I was probably Team Stone Cold at the time.
Okay.
I was probably Team Stone Cold at the time. Now, for me to say anything negative about the final boss, that's not going to happen. I won't say a negative word about the final boss. At the time, whatever. You're in high school. Because here's the thing. I can't raise my eyebrow like The Rock. But I can flip people off.
Yes.
I can flip the middle finger. So it's like, that's going to be my guy.
Right.
I can totally relate.
Still can relate. Absolutely. Okay, so P, we gotta have to start tallying these up.
Yes, we do.
I think we either tied or you're in the lead.
I think we're now in the lead with Sam.
Yeah, I think you're Stone Cold's in the lead right now. Okay.
I love it.
That's fine. That's great. Okay, so now we had an amazing SummerSlam weekend. It started off with Summer Bash, which was good. We had Bret the Hitman Hart, a Hall of Famer, a WWE legend, kicking off Summer Bash, and then we had Action Bronson closing the show. What were your thoughts on that? Because the creators of Wale Mania brought us Summer Bash. So how did you feel like that being the kickoff for this weekend?
I mean, I love all of it. I love Wale Mania. I love Summer Bash. I just love the idea that like wrestling can bring people together, but then have this like vibe where it's almost like there is this kind of culture pro wrestling crossover where you're there because you're all wrestling fans, but in reality you're celebrating even more than that. And to see, and I thought this one was so great because not only to like have everybody there be the type of person that wants to see Bret the Hitman Hart sit down for an hour and have a conversation, but also know that Action Bronson is on the stage.
Right.
And as popular of an artist as he is, he's also a wrestling fan. And so I just think that like they've done such a good job with those shows of making them this display of how far reaching pro wrestling is.
Does it sometimes surprise you, like when you go to these shows and you see like who the artist is or who the celebrity is, you're like, you're a wrestling fan? Like I would have never expected you to be a wrestling fan.
Always. I love
that's one of my favorite things. Yeah.
I love finding out. I love, when like Bowen Yang from SNL, like, a few months ago was wearing a New Japan t-shirt.
Oh my
God.
God.
Texting people who might know him, go like, get the scoop on this. What's going on with that t-shirt? What,
does he know that what he's, and I hate when people say that to me, like, what you know about that?
Right.
Like an NWO shirt. But I really like, I was like you, Sam. I was like, I really hope like he's wearing this t-shirt. And then he is.
I know, yeah. Fan. Yeah. I want it like every time I even sniff it, I go, are we dealing with a secret wrestling fan over there? Are we dealing with a wrestling fan?
I had a coworker. I never met them. They were based in like the UK, and changed their photo to Roman's old logo, like when he was Big Dog. And I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it, like, there's a part of you that's like, that's fearful of like, oh my god, what if he's like, bitch, what are you talking about? Like, and I was like, are you a WWE like a wrestling fan? He was just like, yeah, but like I don't tell anyone. And he chose that logo because he didn't think anyone would like recognize what it is. And I was just like, oh, I will.
There's always one. There's
And
always
it was
one.
like, and then it made him open up because he thought it was like the secret he should keep. But I was just
No.
like, if you change your Slack profile picture to something wrestling, you're a fucking wrestling fan.
Yes.
And I was like, we're gonna talk
Yes.
after things, and it's just such a, and now we're like, I wouldn't say friends because like whatever, remote or whatever, but like he's someone that I talk to, I'm comfortable with because of just that one little common thread.
Yeah, you're one of us.
Yes, you're one of us. My
Yeah.
dad calls it a secret language.
It
Like when you
is.
see someone like on the train with like a massive ball shirt and like you make eye contact and it's just like, you know, because people are looking at him like he's crazy, and I'm like, I'm awesome, you're awesome, we here.
Yeah.
Like I love stuff like that.
Same.
Absolutely. Same. I'll always say you never know who's a wrestling fan until you open your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally.
And that's how me and you got close.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, randomly. But SummerSlam was interesting because obviously it was like a historic first 2 night. It's in Jersey. Cardi B's hosting. Like it was things that you wouldn't think would be true like just a couple years ago. Like what?
Yeah. And Cardi B seemed like a fan. Like she was having the time of her life. Like she didn't even like, she was just emoting. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like there's it's not about the words that I'm saying right now. It's just utter emotion.
Yeah.
Because it's so fun.
It is a fun thing. So there's been, because this has been the first 2 night SummerSlam event ever, there's been talks about other big PLEs also being 2 nights. I don't think I'm a fan of all of them being 2 nights. I still think that we should definitely have some 1 night occasions, just so you know, it can give some type of a balance. But Sam, how do you feel about, they say like the Royal Rumble or Survivor Series being 2 night events?
Man, I'm like give me more until it's too much. You know what I mean? Like, fine. Especially if we're out of there before 10 p.m. and maybe it's because I'm older now.
That's the plus.
When you can end a show at 9:30, you remember the last time that WrestleMania was in MetLife?
I was there.
And trying to get home at 1 o'clock in the morning because you had to stay for the main event. Like if that's the alternative, yeah. I mean, I would do. Look, I mean, from 2 perspectives, from a few, I guess. I'm never mad at more until it's too much. Like if I get there and it's too much, then yeah, I'd rather do it and then go, yeah, it didn't need to be 2 nights. Let's dial it back. I think that's the better route. Getting out early is great, but also this idea of like, look, ultimately, if you've got an attraction that's so amazing that you can sell 113,000 tickets, why not sell 113,000 tickets? You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. Right. And I don't know. Like I thought there were people when they first announced that SummerSlam was 2 nights. There were definitely people kind of scratching their heads a little bit. Like I don't know about that. And I thought it made the show feel a lot bigger. And we got, I mean, both main events were unbelievable. And trying to pack both those main events and both the angles that came after the main events onto one show would have been impossible. And it would have been unfair to one or the other. So I think, but I do think that if we're doing 2 nights, then it is fair that now as fans, we have those expectations. Like if you're telling me that both nights, those are both main events, then they better feel like main events. If I'm buying a ticket to SummerSlam Saturday, then it better feel like a whole show. And then SummerSlam Sunday also better feel like a whole show. Right. So as long as that, kind of relationship stays put, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's totally fair because I was one of those people that didn't. I like that Mania felt like the one special event that needed to be 2 nights. But then after SummerSlam, I was like, it felt good. Like I love the early night. I love that more people are on the card. Like I love that. But then again, like WWE match us with that energy so that we're like, yes, I'll buy 2 nights of this, or this feels like a full show.
Actually, yeah, I agree when you break it down that way, because I was just like, do we need? But
I
Yep.
think from a work perspective, we're just
yeah,
like, okay, no rush for the week.
right, no real rush. But when you talk about the main events from both nights, there was no way it was going to fit in a one night situation. And I don't even know which main event was better. Usually I will rank them like, oh, this one was better than that one, but this one is very hard to
absolutely
to piece or to rate. What I will say though is that John Cena was in rare form on Sunday.
I didn't expect that match to be as good as it was.
Me neither.
I mean, it was
like to be on the edge of my seat the way that I was.
It was a masterpiece, that Cody John Cena match. It was unbelievable.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, it was like, and I watched it back like after on TV, and I was like, I can't believe how well they pulled this off. Like it was insane. Like it's that John Cena was still able to pull out a match that was that good, and Cody was able to tell this story, and the audience was just on the ride. It wasn't like they didn't at any point try to hijack the match. It wasn't like, oh, I know it'd be funny, let's boo this guy, let's cheer that guy. It was just like, we're there. We were all on that same wavelength going, oh my God, we get to see old John Cena back. This is amazing. He didn't turn. We actually got it. We got to have a nice thing as a wrestling fan. And yet just the ride that I think we all went on, like John kicking out of 3 crossroads, which was the same thing that Roman got put down with at WrestleMania. And then Cody coming and kicking out of 3 attitude adjustments. And like, you felt every bit of what was going on, and it all felt so justified and just good, man. It was just really good.
It was super good. So towards the end, were you expecting The Rock or Brock Lesnar?
Well, I was not expecting Brock Lesnar. I don't think anybody was expecting Brock Lesnar. I didn't hear. And anybody that tells you like, yeah, I figured Brock might come out is lying to you. There's no way. No, I heard that from 0 people, So like but I will, like, when I went in, I was like, was something. I didn't know what it was. I was expecting something is going to happen here. Like clearly they've orchestrated this so that they can have this match with 2 baby faces, because something is going to happen, whether it's Cody turning, whether it's John Cena pulling a swerve, whether it's Rock coming out, whether it's Travis Scott swerving everybody and being
That's
like,
what I thought so too.
Yeah. Like even when they disappeared under the stage and smoke started coming up, I was like, tell me Travis Scott is under that stage. Like what? But yeah, when John Cena was in the ring by himself, it was definitely one of those moments where I was like, we're not done. You know what I mean? Like you could feel like there was an energy, like we're not done. But I don't know. You could have given me 20 guesses, and I wouldn't have guessed Brock was coming out.
So I heard that John Cena requested him to have like one last ride for his farewell tour. Do you think so? Brian H. Waters doesn't think that that's necessary. Like he wants John Cena to work with new people, but all of the controversy aside, I can see why John Cena would maybe want one last hurrah with Brock Lesnar. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and and it wasn't even something that I considered in the beginning, but in reality, when you start listing sort of the key John Cena opponents of all time, obviously Randy Orton comes up quick. Obviously Edge comes up quick. There's a handful of them, but the reality is that Brock is one of them. Like Brock and John Cena are attached. You go to like coming off of WrestleMania 28 and John Cena's lost to The Rock. That was when Brock first showed up back in the WWE. And when he returned at SummerSlam like a few years ago, 5 years ago or whatever it was, he came out and he attacked John Cena after WrestleMania 30 at SummerSlam, when he put John Cena, like he's totally squashed John Cena, and all of us were like that was the first time I had seen a main event match where one guy got beat so bad. I remember being there and we were all like, that was weird and uncomfortable. Like,
Even rewatching it
Rewatching
feels
it.
that way a little bit. Is like it's like, oh, he
There's
took
Right.
certain ones you can't watch again because like uncomfortability, secondhand embarrassment, like, and that match is in that section.
So yeah, I mean, I do think that Brock is one of the key John Cena opponents, and I do think that when Brock is on a show, when Brock, I think Triple H said something about it, but I think it's right that like, and you felt it if you were in MetLife, like the minute that Brock Lesnar is there and is a factor in this, the whole thing changes. Like everything changes, and it just heightens everything. So this idea of, see, like otherwise, John Cena's a babyface now, and it would be great if it was like, yep, and for the next 4 or 5 months, John's just going to go around and play the hits and, you know, beat bad guys that are on the roster. And it's like, okay. But now that Brock is there, it's like, now we have something to talk about. Now we have something to theorize on. Now we have something to be like, you know, there's meat on this bone now.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, for sure.
I
do love that. Go ahead. Because I think it ending in that surprise. I mean, The Rock would have been amazing.
Amazing.
But also like that teensy weensy, like, oh, of course he's here. But like Brock was just like, oh, like a really holy shit moment.
Yeah. It was a real holy shit moment. So my next question is, because John Cena only has 12 more dates, essentially. Like he only has 12 more matches left until he gives his retirement match in December. Do you think The Rock will be a factor in something, be in one of those matches or closing it out? Because he started this whole Cody, give me your soul thing, and then it ended up being John Cena at Elimination Chamber, and we haven't seen him since. So now that John is babyface again, do you think The Rock will be like, all right, I got to step in and do something as well?
I would like to see it. You know, I don't really know. I don't know what show would be big enough for that to happen on. And I don't know. I mean, The Rock got very busy very quick. Like, you know, you see what he's got going on outside of wrestling. The Smashing Machine is about to come out. He's doing the Scorsese movie. He's got the live action Moana. Like all of a sudden this wheel's going. I mean, so I don't know what he's physically able to do in terms of being places. But and that's a factor that is kind of unique to The Rock in the sense that like story-wise, yes, it would make all the sense in the world. Yeah, 100%. But the reality is that this is a guy who, and you can't really begrudge him for the fact that he's got all this stuff going on outside of wrestling, because the reason that the whole Final Boss run was, well, one of the many reasons that the whole Final Boss run was so amazing, and the reason that when he comes back and exercises this power and you take it seriously is because he's got all this stuff going on outside of wrestling. If he was like, I'm going to drop all this and just do wrestling, he no longer has the same level of credibility that he would if it's like, that's the biggest movie star. That's a member of the board of directors. That's a guy who can do whatever he wants. And that's what that character is based on now. So yeah, I mean, I think I have no idea. Would I love to see it? Yes, I would love to see it. And anybody that tells you we don't need The Rock back, I get it. You're taking personally because you want to see The Rock and you're not seeing him. But the minute If You Smell comes on, it's like, we forgive you. We forgive you. We forgive you. Like,
come on back home.
Yes, of course. And that's the way it should be. He's the great one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I would love to know some of the other matches, because we're talking about like people that are like established already, big stars. But was there anyone during that weekend that really impressed you for SummerSlam, or matches that really are like, wow, that was good, and I'm glad that we did have 2 nights so that match can get on the card?
I think it's always good to get Karrion Kross on the card, and that's something that I think benefits from having 2 nights.
Yes.
I think I really enjoyed the women's triple threat on night 2 with, you know, Naomi getting the win that also makes it so that Rhea still hasn't beaten Io. Like there's a lot going on there, and I really enjoyed that. Oh, and I mean, the Roman Reigns Jey Uso tag match was like another
That
chef's
was
kiss.
everything.
Oh, it was so good. And just like the idea that Roman has changed so much and also wants revenge on Paul Heyman so much that he'll take the bullet for Jey Uso, which he would never have done before. Like, it's so cool.
That's true. And you know, they making Roman look like a punk because now he got two pairs of sneakers that was taken from him.
Like what? I could on Raw, when I see Bronson Reed after he laid out Roman, and I was like, okay, he's laid out, and then you see him while the officials are all tending to Roman. Bronson bends down and starts loosening his laces, and I went, no. And then, I mean, I couldn't take it. Like the videos, like the social videos of Roman leaving the ring, and he's just in his socks. And anybody that went to public school knows that's. I mean, going home in socks is you're done. Like that's the worst. Yeah. It's the worst.
And then twice you got twice.
Twice, and then his mom went and bought him a new pair of sneakers, and he lost those too.
Yes,
right. Like
you'll come home.
At this point, we're gonna call somebody. We're gonna get the principal and stuff involved because this is getting out of hand now.
And you have to wear Dad's old sneakers now because we're not buying you any more pairs.
You don't know how to keep track of your stuff.
Okay. Now. But before we let you go, Sam, because I know you have such a busy schedule, the comebacks that was happening in Brooklyn at Monday Night Raw. Can we just talk about the Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch comeback?
Oh, that was I was living.
Oh, and it's like, I mean,
Nikki Bella had some jabs going in at first.
Yes.
But then Becky was just like, all right, I'm gonna go for the kill.
Yeah. It was like, hey, I'm gonna throw spitballs at you. And Becky Lynch is like, okay, well, I have this cannon. Right. I'm gonna hit you with this. And the audience, like the way the audience reacted, like it was the Undertaker streak ending. Like just whoa, like
it was like a gasp and then okay.
Like up, like a Mariah Carey would hit a certain note, and then if you want to keep going, then she'll go further. That's exactly how it went. Them octaves was up there after Becky said what she said.
And the beauty of it is, all of a sudden, because like if I had said to you on Sunday, what do you want to see next with Becky? You go, I don't know. Like you definitely would never have thought Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. It just wasn't. It's like, what? Like, how does that even work? And now, I mean, I want to main event a PLE with it. Like, I'm ready to see these two fight.
Book it. And I like how they're touching on their history because, like, with the men, you could always go back to a Randy Orton and John Cena or like a Edge and one of his but Becky and Nikki have history. Yeah. So it just makes me happy for like the diva stands and because those wrestling girls started because of the women's evolution, being inspired by that, loving the Bellas, watching Total Divas and all of that, and like seeing the AJ Lees and all of that. So we were like in that era, and now being able to call back to that era in that way for us was just like everything. And it's a new title, very cool.
And that's everything we needed plus more.
I think
now
so
we want more.
And there's two things with that. Number one, I definitely think that like the Divas era doesn't get the credit that it deserves because those women were like doing what they were doing with these insane handcuffs on. Like that we can't do. We're doing pillow fights here, and all we want to do is real wrestling. Like we're trying to sneak real wrestling into lingerie matches, and still somehow we're able to kind of pave the way for that. But also, yeah, you're right about this new title. Like the fact that this Intercontinental Championship, like Becky Lynch has brought this thing up so high, so quickly. We've had classics with Lyra. We've had Becky and Bayley. Now we're going to like Becky and Nikki for the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, this is how you establish a new title.
Yeah, I agree. Sam, it was amazing having you on. Please let everybody know where they can follow you at.
Well, of course. Yeah. My wrestling podcast is called Not Sam Wrestling. So I'm sure wherever you get this podcast, you just search and find Not Sam Wrestling. It's on all the audio platforms and YouTube and everything. So check that out. You can hear me every day on Sirius XM. You can see me on WWE. We do the Raw recap and we do it after PLEs as well. I mean, listen, if you're a wrestling fan and you don't know anywhere to find my face, Like you're deliberately trying to not see me. So
You can find Not Sam and listen to his wrestling takes everywhere.
I try to make it. Like I figure if I'm everywhere and unavoidable, then then that's where my niche will be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
Later.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
So I'm glad that Sam was on and we got his take on wrestling.
Family.
That's family for sure. I love that we got his take on wrestling, and I love that we got his take on, SummerSlam. But there's some things for SummerSlam. First ever tonight. But there's some things about SummerSlam that was going on, or the aftermath of it that was going on, which kind of took me by surprise. Like the Jade and Tiffany Stratton match.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly felt like this was Jade's time to shine. Honestly felt like this was her time to win her first singles title in WWE and literally have a toe-to-toe bout with Naomi in the event Naomi won her match, which eventually she did. And it just didn't go that way. So Jade goes onto Twitter and posts a photo of her sitting on the floor by the ring and say, "Y'all win." And then when everybody's giving her negative comments like, "You suck, boo you."
Oh my God.
She's responding like, "You're right. I know. This and the third."
Oh.
So what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you honestly feel like she's completely defeated, depleted, and just like, or do you think she's just going to use this as a way of coming back stronger?
I think so. I always thought Jade was better as a heel. Mm-hmm. Personally, I just feel like with her physique and everything that she has going on, and she has a really good bad attitude, and I mean that in the best way possible. I always thought she should be a heel, so it's not connecting with me like her beating Tiffany and being like this babyface champion. Like it didn't make sense to me. I do wish the match was longer and it was more like false finishes where it looked like Jade might actually, become champion. It never gave that the whole night. But I do hope that this means it's giving very much like Bayley when she first turned heel, when she just kept losing to everyone in every match. And then finally she was just I do, I give up, her on the side of the ring. And, those are kind of the vibe that I was going on. Cause I think Jay should just come out the gate. I look better than you. I'm stronger than you. Mm-hmm. That kind of vibe. And then I want her title journey, I wanted to start with either Naomi or Bianca or something. I don't think it was Tiffany wasn't the person. I want to see, especially because Naomi is champion. I don't know. That's just kind of where I see it going. And that's just more like me as a fan of I just want that to be the case.
Yeah, I can agree and I can see that. But it's just why try to dangle her in our faces and in the sense of oh, it's about to be her time, because she already came and beat that dog spit out of Naomi. But like you said, I do see wanting it to do something with Naomi or Bianca, because Bianca and Jade still have yet to talk and be face to face, or try to figure out what's going on and how she got jumped. And we haven't seen an interaction with them.
That's so true.
And we don't know when, because Bianca's injured. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We've been patiently waiting to see that interaction between the two of them, because Naomi, she's she just doing her own thing. She don't give a fuck, right? But I do want to see Bianca and Jade finally talk about it, and maybe this could be Jade her being emotional could lead to I need to talk. You know what? Something isn't right. I need to talk to my girl Bianca or something and bring Bianca back in. And the good thing too, while Bianca heals, we're still so invested in that. Bianca could take the time to heal. Jade could feud with a couple more people. Naomi can be champion and feud with a couple more people. And they could come back to this months from now and we're still going to be just as tuned in as we were when it was first happening.
I agree. Yeah. And a thing that you said about Bayley, when Bayley finally turned heel, there was a spot in the Lyra Becky match where Bayley came out and she had the crowbar, and we thought she was going to hit Lyra with it, but she put it down. And it brought me back to when Sasha was beating a dog spit out of Becky in the ring with the chair, and Bayley was trying to stop her, and then Bayley just went ham and turned heel.
I was hoping that was the case.
Right. And in the video I'm recording, I said, this not MSG or wherever it was. I'm like, this not that, Bayley, don't do it. But I think it definitely would have added another layer to that feud, although I'm kind of tired of seeing it. So seeing Becky and Nikki Bella each other was like a breath of fresh air.
Same. Yeah. And even if Bayley and Lyra do a little something, I'm glad that now the IC title and Becky can do like something else, and they can focus on that. Because I do want more for Bayley, like, and her fans do. Everyone does. It's like, you know, we still kind of feel like her match was robbed by Becky, and that could really work for Bayley.
For sure, I definitely agree. But my thing is that would she need to turn heel to do it? Like, I don't think she would need to turn heel to do it, but she has to have she has to see a crack in like a door or a window and just burst right through it.
Yeah, she does. And we're all here for it. We're all like kind of waiting for that. I have a question about another match. Because I think it was Sunday, that was the gimmick day of SummerSlam, where it was like no DQ, then a TLC, and then
Stipulation day.
It was just like, I don't know. So that's the only thing I would like, if I had to be like, I'm gonna book this because I know everything, I would have just kind of spaced out all the gimmick matches, because like back to back after a while I was like, okay, it kind of takes like the shine off of it being if I watch 4 matches where everyone could do whatever the fuck they want, by the 3rd or 4th match it's kind of just like, oh, okay, you brought out a chair, well, so did everybody else tonight, so you know what the hell. But the tag team match, people were talking about the Street Profits, and how they quote unquote got no pop, and fans, and then with Raw, you know, things got spicy. What needs to happen next with the Street Profits? Is it time to break them up? Do we feel like it's run its course? Do you feel like they're losing the crowd? What is your initial thoughts on that?
So one, I was on the floor when the Street Profits came out, and it was surprisingly quiet. Like, it wasn't as loud as you would normally get. For one, I also feel like the music has a lot to play with.
That's a big thing.
And being that one, we don't often hear the Street Profits music as we used to before, it throws people off, and it's like, who were they?
Right.
You know? So I feel like if they changed the music back or remixed it in a sense to where you can still hear the horns in the beginning of the dun dun dun, and then whatever.
Yeah.
Secondly, I do think that people are starting to become a little bit, I don't want to say tired, but yeah, maybe a little bit fatigued, tired with the Street Profits being a tag team and how they're handling them. So it would be best if they did like pursue solo careers in a sense, because at the end of the day, when you're a tag team, you still have the aspirations of being a solo wrestler. Look at Jay and Jimmy. Yeah, like Jay and Jimmy, like, I mean, they're of course tag teams forever because they're twins, but they're still their own person. They still solidify their own identity within WWE. Jay was a world champion and an IC champion. You know, he has 2 solo titles under his belt already. Jimmy is working towards that. So now if we do that for the Street Profits, like, they don't have to break up, like, they don't have to turn on each other, they don't have to
right.
They could just kind of
do their own way. Do their own thing, root each other on,
and still have each other's back when necessary.
Right, and they can still have the odd tag team match if they need to, like just like Jimmy and Jay do, when they need to. I would like to see it, just because, you know, we heard a lot. I heard a lot more from Bianca, just because I listened to a lot of her interviews and stuff like that, of just how much Montez loves wrestling and how he taught her everything that she needed to know, not just about the moves, but about character, about psychology, about connecting with the crowd. So he knows it all. Like, he has all the tools, and he's loved this for so long. And I'm sure that when he came into the business, he didn't want to be a tag team wrestler the entire time. So I would like, and same with Dawkins. Like Dawkins was in developmental for years before Montez showed up, and they were able to kind of get, you know, everything popping as the Street Profits. But they both have intentions to be single stars at some point. So them going their separate ways for a little while doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, the Street Profits failed as a tag team, so they have to break up. No, I feel like it's kind of the natural evolution of this tag team that we've watched grow for the last few years.
I definitely agree. I do think it's starting to get stale. Like even the TLC match, it was good. It was a really good match. I probably was expecting a little bit more from Tez, just because we know like what he's capable of when it comes down to the acrobatics.
Right.
And it comes down, you know, I feel like the biggest pop he got was when he pushed the ladder over and Candice LeRae went through it and broke it in half. Like I didn't even know sis broke the ladder until
Knee
they played
first.
right. Until they played the replay. And I'm like, oh, she broke it. Oh
Yeah, and shout out to her because I've followed her a long time and she's always been hardcore. She is a deathmatch girl. So don't sleep on her.
Right. Although she may be
She's
small
about
and
that
dainty.
life. She's really about that life.
Right. And I love how Big E, when he did his like top 5 of the night or whatever, she landed up at number 2.
Nice.
Mind you, she didn't even have a match.
Right.
Like that spot alone.
Good for her.
Right. That spot alone granted her like a number 2 spot on Big E's list. So this is when I say, like, if y'all are watching wrestling and y'all don't see why women deserve their spotlight and their shine, y'all watching for the wrong reasons. So speaking of other victories of both SummerSlam nights, what I realized, most of the titles and stuff changed. There were more title changes on night 1 than it was night 2. Night 1, we got new women's tag team champions in Charlotte and Alexa, which I'm very excited about. I love how Brooklyn
That's
embraced
the
her.
tag team that I didn't put together or expected or anything, but I like it because it feels to me like we're the vets and fuck it, let's team up and show these bitches what's up, like kind of vibe. Because when you think about the roster right now, even before Alexa Bliss came back, or she came back and then she was like gone for a little bit, and it was just like, where does she fit? Even Charlotte Flair, like where do they fit in the current roster right now? Like Charlotte, you could, slot into the title picture because she's Charlotte Flair, but even I think she's tired of that too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Or like bored with it. And then Alexa Bliss, she's a top girly. I still think she gets the biggest pop on the roster. It's insane. But then where do you put her? Where does she fit? Like, so putting them together as like, the odd couple tag team that WWE loves so much actually has been working for me. And I'm okay with them holding gold right now.
It's giving Team Hell No. Kane and Daniel Bryan back then. That's what it's giving. It's kind of giving a Team Hell No. And it's like, we're not friends. Like, but it also loved it because now it adds a layer to the Judgment Day. Liv left, had to relinquish her title. Now she lost the title that she didn't even technically lose because Roxanne is like her replacement for right now. And y'all can't hold it down while I'm gone.
And she about to take your man.
She's like, hey, play City Girls. I'll take your man.
Yeah, go rest up, girl.
Because you won't have
Stay
a
home.
lot of
I'm gonna hold this down, and I'm here for that too. Like I talk about it all the time of just like how proud I am of Roxanne, and just seeing her on such a big stage at MetLife is just so heartwarming because she's someone else. She was in an episode of Total Divas because she was always the ones that was like in the front by the gates waiting to meet the wrestlers, and with her mom telling the wrestlers like she wants to be a wrestler, and like even Nikki being like, well, I can always use a new tag team. And now you see her performing in front of like tens of thousands of people as like walking into SummerSlam as champion. And what I always liked about her was every time she did main roster stuff, even when she was in NXT, she never felt like the new girl that's being given the opportunity to be on the big stage. She always looks like she belongs there. She always looks like she could keep up with whoever to put her in a ring with anyone. She's going to keep up with them. And she has. And then she has the personality. Like, she has such a fun story on the main roster. Like, even if she is trying to like disseminate Judgment Day and take Dom and take Liv's place, like, that is going to be cool. And I also love, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, I like her and Raquel as a tag team better than I do Liv and Raquel, only because they seem like they're more on the same level. Like, Liv is such a top star, and Raquel, you know, I just feel like she's always just trying to like, you know, like get up there. But like Roxanne being from NXT and Raquel, they're more, I feel like, on the same kind of level. They're both Hispanic. Like, they just have more, I don't know, something about it. I think she brings out something in Raquel. I don't know. I like it a lot.
I think so too. I definitely agree with that. Like, their tag team dynamic is definitely different from what Liv and Raquel's is or was. So we're just gonna have to see when they come back, like when Liv comes back, like how it's gonna look, because you can tell like Raquel's like, Liv isn't even, she's training, she's this, she's that. Like, just like she's saying it so much that she wants to believe it herself.
Yeah.
And now we really have to wait and see about, okay, like, is this really going to happen? So SummerSlam, okay, we touched on Charlotte and Alexa tag, the women's tag team match. We touched on the triple threat match, which was amazing. Rhea actually went on Twitter afterwards and was just like, I officially hate SummerSlam. Poor baby. Right. Oh. Poor baby. You gonna get there one day, Rhea. You gonna get there one day. Congratulations to Naomi winning. Tiffany and Jade. Tiffany retained. Becky and Lyra. Becky retains. Still don't know where Bayley fits in all of this anymore. If it's a floating thing. So, how would you rate night 1 from night 2? Or how would you rate it overall? No, better question. Do you think that night 1 was better or night 2 was better? Let me say that.
Oh, that's a good question. I think the main event of night 1 saved it, because I thought the car was kind of like, okay. Because also I went in not thinking that this needed to be 2 nights. Like, I was just like, why? So the first match card, I was just like, oh, okay, this is cool. But first off, the main event, I think, just made everything like so much better because of the whole swerve. Like, Seth Rollins for me he's always been like in my top 5, because I just feel like he's like a wrestler's wrestler, and like it proved it the other night. Like, him actually like this, he went back to like old school, like, I got blinded in the ring, so like I legit walk around my neighborhood in like bandages and act like I can't see, like Junkyard Dog. Literally missed the birth of like his granddaughter, his niece or some shit, or his daughter, because he was in the middle of a wrestling angle and he was blind. And like, he went back to the old school, posting videos and like a brace and stuff. And then when you think back at when he got injured at Saturday Night's Main Event, it was kind of extra, like him being like, fuck, like, and I felt like, oh my God, this feels over the top, because like he's so hurt and disappointed that he's hurt, that I felt terrible for him. But in the fact that it was all a work, like, oh my God, Seth, like, you just made it into my top 3.
He's a genius. He's definitely a genius.
Oh my God, I
and then
love
the fact
it.
you have your daughter into it, like, he told her that it was a pretend boo-boo, so that she had to be quiet about it. And I'm like,
at least he didn't work the daughter, because old school wrestlers used to work their kids and have their kids like traumatized.
That's true.
Like, oh my God,
their kids would be home. Drew travels with them.
That's true. So yeah, she did need to know. And also I need to interview this little girl, when she's like 18, and just hear the stories of, because she's traveling the world,
right,
with like 2 of the biggest stars of their industry. Like, I can only imagine the life that this little girl's living.
I know, right? And then, you know, it's crazy. It could probably be like a normal life
to her.
No, not even like with the wrestlers, just like normal mom and dad. We're reading, we're writing, we're going to
Oh,
school.
I'm
we're doing,
sure.
and you know, all the wrestling stuff, they tried to like keep it separate until it was time to like get dressed or get measured or something like that. It could be so normal, and we thinking like it's so extravagant, like, because you know,
Well,
we heard the story.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she's being raised like a normal girl, but the fact that she's already been to like 20 countries
Yeah.
and she's not even like 2 years old, like that's
No, I
huge. Like
think she's 3
being
now.
yeah, like being breastfed after your mom just main evented WrestleMania, and then like now mom's about to come read to me, read me good night. Like that's insane in a
Definitely.
great way. Like, and I love kids like her that are just like one of one, that like have lived lives that no one could understand, like Stephanie McMahon, like Paige, Charlotte Flair, like kids that like to them it's normal, like, you know, whatever, like Blue Ivy, like people like that, where I'm just like wow, like what is your day-to-day like what are some of the things that seem normal to you growing up that are like not normal to me?
Right. You are absolutely right.
So interesting. But I did enjoy the Dom and AJ Styles match.
Yes, I did
That was
enjoy that
good.
match. It was definitely attributed to Eddie Guerrero for sure.
So
Everything in that match from beginning to end, from entrances to the ending, it was definitely a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Like the low rider, the shimmy, the live cheat still, the boots.
AJ
Like,
Styles doing that shit is hilarious.
it's funny. Shout out to Wilkins for that tweet about, you know, his shimmy had no flavor, had no rhythm. It's okay. He's learning. His hair was luscious. His hair was luscious. So for me, I feel the same, but in reverse. I felt like night 2's main event saved the rest of night 2. I do think that night 1 was definitely better.
Okay.
And maybe because of the whole, I had called the Seth Rollins audible. I did. I called it with my friend. And I said it right before in the video when I posted it. I said, congratulations to CM Punk. Now we just have to watch out for Seth Rollins. Because it could have happened at any moment. And we already knew, like, it was in that moment where it definitely had took place and happened. So overall, I would rate SummerSlam. I would give SummerSlam a good 8.7 out of 10 overall for both nights.
It was pretty good. There were not that many misses or duds or anything. And as much as I do like only WrestleMania being 2 nights because it's WrestleMania, after SummerSlam I'm kind of like, all right, let's do this. Just make sure the stories and everything, because that was what I was afraid of, was how are they going to build up these stories after such a big WrestleMania? You guys have what, 2-3 months to like build up stories to fill 2 nights, and they're doing a pretty good job at that.
I think so as well. I really do think so. I feel like the biggest party of the summer can definitely be 2 nights. WrestleMania, grandest stage of them all, can definitely be 2 nights. Royal Rumble, don't need 2 nights. Survivor Series, War Games, you don't need 2 nights. That all can fit in one thing. And those can be like isolated type shows, so where you have the important storylines to focus on. So yeah, I do agree. So we was able to end this crazy weekend with Netflix. And the bodega. First of all, I should have got 2 bags of that popcorn because I ate that thing. That popcorn was so damn good.
Oh, you can have mine. I tried it that night. It was like ramen
like
flavored. I didn't like it. I was like, Latricia, like she didn't like it either. So you can have it.
Okay, great. Because I did love it. I'm like, damn, I should have got 2 bags. But no, we capped off the night with Netflix at the pre-ceremony before Monday Night Raw, and we saw a lot of fans, so a lot of celebrities. Method Man was there, Adam Blackstone, Havoc from Mobb Deep. I'm gonna shout out Cass because I told him he's such a celebrity. Joe Budden, a lot of celebrities was there that you wouldn't even.
Fred Armisen was there.
Yes,
and I was like, oh my god, I'm a huge fan. He was so approachable, so nice. And I was like, I just was watching Broad City and I just came across your episode, and then he quoted one of the lines from the episode, like, I'm just a baby. Anyone I watched Broad City, like, it's like such an iconic episode, and I was like, I can't believe this just happened. Like, and he was so nice about it.
and Luis Guzman, I think that's his name.
Yes.
He
Oh
was
my
there,
God. Some guy from Power was there looking real. It was a lot of
Da
guys from Power.
Vinci.
No, not Power. BMF.
BMF. Da Vinci was there.
Yes.
He wasn't in the thing with us though, because child, I would have got a picture.
He's really nice.
He's very nice, and he's from Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn.
Oh, I did not know that. That's
yes,
dope.
he's definitely from Brooklyn.
That is dope.
Just
That's another good thing too. Like a lot of New Yorkers was there. And just to go to our point that we were talking about with Sam, like there were like a lot of the celebrities that they invite to these things. Like a lot, like even in Vegas, a lot of them were like, so tell me what this is all for, or like, what should I look at? This is my first time at a live wrestling show. I had one guy ask me, what is Raw? And I was like, oh, okay.
I would have said something so disrespectful.
I was like, oh, all right. Let me tell you. But then at the same time, I was like a soap opera, basically. Like I was like, every week, all of these storylines, they progress every week on this weekly show. And this is the, aftermath of a big 2-day big event. So this is a big show that you're going to. And they were like, oh, okay. And then they were like genuinely interested, genuinely like, okay, so this is all right. Well, now I know. They like kind of was like, okay, now I know what to look forward to. Because he was like, oh, I haven't heard about wrestling since like Hulk Hogan, and like the timing of such a big pop culture figure dying, I think also gave people a renewed interest in wrestling. Not saying like, oh, I got to start watching wrestling, but then it's like, oh, I remember Hogan from my childhood, and then it's like, oh, that's back on, and it's like, oh shit, it's back on, and it's huge now, and it's on Netflix, and now I'm going to Raw all of a sudden. So that was very interesting to like navigate.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said before, we survived this weekend.
Yes.
We have been
another one
tired.
in the book.
Another one in the books. Now I can kind of relax until Survivor Series. I'm not all the other PLEs and stuff.
Where is Survivor Series?
California, San Diego.
Okay. And then they go to fucking Middle East. Okay.
Well, they're in the middle. They're about to go to Paris and stuff now. So I feel like this was kind of like the last one out here for a little bit, so we can rest and recuperate and do all the great stuff. But again, thank you all for joining us on this dope episode of our SummerSlam recap. We just want to say thank you all for continuing to follow us, continuing to follow in the Revolt Creative Network, because that's where you can find our podcast. And again, I'm gonna pull a page out of Sam's book. If you don't see our faces and don't know where to follow us, then you're intentionally not trying to look for us. So on that note, it's your girl Krista B
and Queen P.R.
And we are out of here until next time. Bye.
Queen P.R, Krista B, those wrestling girls, TWG, Black Excellence, making it effortless. Podcast bringing up women and wrestling. Let's go.